Now, before we even get this started, I want to be perfectly clear that I am not the right person to be talking about this series right now. Now, with that being said, I am going to do my very best in describing this 100% of my perspective. Now, I think I'm correct, but once I started reading this, I had to make something about it, okay? So, what we are here, what you clicked on this video, you already know what it is. We are here to talk about Boku no, I mean Naruto, I mean 7, I mean Jujutsu Kaisen. That's right, we're here to talk about this, but why are we talking about the main character? Because he's shit right now. We're here to talk about the one only, the reason why anyone watches anime. The reason we watch anime is because we don't care about OPness. We don't care about jutsus. We don't care about demons. We don't care about people who can shoot stuff out of their hands, Kamehamehas. We don't care about none of that. We care about eyes. We care about people using eye technique. When you open your eyes, you're automatically strong. You have something with your eye, you are strong. So the reason to start this video, how I want to start this video off, is only one way possible. We need to talk about the person who doesn't even reveal his eyes until it's necessary. We need to talk about people who hide their eyes, and when they reveal their eyes, they are automatically stronger. And now we are here talking about one person, his powers and abilities. We are here to talk about Satoru Gojo. I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna be simple. Depending on how I can explain his powers, depends on how the length of his video. So let's get into it. We are going to talk about strength-wise. Now, his punches are above human. This godly, I even say. Maybe not God of high school godly, but godly nonetheless. He's basically a god in and of himself. But that's just strength-wise. Everybody knows that once you have your eyes closed, you're automatically strong. Now, his speed, godly. I say it's godly. This man is fast enough to beat your ass, leave. I don't know how far he ran. I honestly, I cannot tell you how far he ran. I thought it was teleportation for a second. But he actually ran, grabbed one of his students, and came back to the fight, and the person didn't even know he left. He didn't even know he left. He punched him down. He's like, oh, damn. Oh, man. Oh, did you just leave? He grabbed a whole student, and the student was at high school. How you do that? How do you do that? I don't know. His speed, strength, unmeasurable. Let's just say that. He can teleport, but under certain conditions. Those conditions, I do not know. I do not know. But let's talk about what you guys all came in. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the meat of the situation. The ability that had me reeling. I had to read this chapter like multiple times because I still don't understand it. Now, before I even explain it, this is minor spoilers for his ability. I'm pretty sure when it gets animated, it'll probably be like episode 6 or 7 when you finally reveal his ability. But minor spoilers, just want to let you know. Correct, yeah, infinity. So, basically, infinity is something that he can do which allows him to slow down objects in his presence. Now, this is tricky, so I need you to keep up with me, all right? Someone made a graph about this in Reddit. I was going to copy and link, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that. But if I do, here it is. If not, let's continue. So basically, what infinity does, the neutral version, because there's 3 versions. The first version we're getting into infinity is basically what he does is if someone were to go touch him, he basically like slows them down. So the closer you get to him, the slower you become, and slower and slower. And then he basically decides he basically controls like what touches him and what doesn't touch him. For example, Achilles and the tortoise. Now, what people don't understand about that, because I didn't understand until I actually read it. So let's say you have 2 runners. Okay, let's say you have a whole line. Now, let's say Achilles starts at the beginning, and he gives the tortoise a head start. So Achilles is here, the tortoise is here. Now they're both running at the same speed. Let's say both running at the same speed, but Achilles is just a tad bit faster. Maybe like what 2 kilometers? I don't know speed. Sorry, but he just a tad bit faster. So now Achilles is running to catch up to the tortoise. Now since they're running, the tortoise now has moved up, and Achilles finally catches up to where the tortoise was at the beginning of the race. So now Achilles is running, but the tortoise catches up a little bit further. So now Achilles is right here when the tortoise moved a little bit further. So now Achilles chases the tortoise to where he actually was, but the tortoise moved just a tad bit further. Now Achilles runs, catches to the tortoise where he was now, but the tortoise a tad bit further. Catch up to the tortoise, now the tortoise a tad bit slower. So it's basically infinite space. The first place winner will never catch the second place. So to put it simply, you're not gonna touch him. You're not. He's never going to catch up to the tortoise. He's getting closer and closer and closer to the point where it's like he's not even moving. So basically, how he does it is, when you're about to touch him, you get closer and closer and closer and closer until you just barely not even moving. To simplify this even more, how I really understood it. Let's say you have a slice of pizza. This was on the red, so I might actually have to put this on here. Let's say you have a slice of pizza. You take one slice out of that pie. Now you cut that slice of pizza. You keep cutting it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You just keep cutting. Once you cut like one half, you take the half that you cut it again in half. You take the half that you cut it in half. You just keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it and cutting it and cutting it into smaller pieces. Infinite. So at this point, it's like you're not even cutting anything, but it's still there. And when you put it all together, it still makes a finite pizza, a slice of pizza, but an infinite slices once you spread it all out after everything you cut. So it's basically like that. He's basically a god. So basically, if you try to touch him, you're not going to unless he wants you to. Now, there is a way around this. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about more of his abilities. He has a technique called blue. Now, I believe that blue is the one where it repels you. So basically, an area like let's say if you're trying to eat the pizza, right? Instead of you trying to eat the pizza, it just wait. Blue's a track. Blue is definitely a track. I remember now. Blue's a track. So he fucks with the particles and atoms around you, and he attracts things to him. Now this works on non-living and living things. So basically, same pizza. This was on the Reddit. So let's say you have Pac-Man trying to eat the pizza, and instead of you eating the pizza at your own pace, it just attracts you and pulls you in. Just basically sucks you in. So pretty simple. Then he has an ability called red, which repels you. So to simplify, it just repels. Blue attracts, red repels. Alright, so then there's a second phase of Limitless. It's called I Should Glow. So I Should Glow is the an advanced version of blue. So basically, it's just really amplified. That's all. If I try to explain it how I read it, it's just totally confusing. It's just a very advanced version of attraction. Then there's another version, the third version. It's a long ass name, and I do not know how to do it. So I'm just going to show you right here. If you can pronounce this, you're a better man than me or woman. I cannot pronounce what this is. So whatever this is, wherever it is, this is what it's called. This version is a headache because what he technically can do, which makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. So he does a negative space and tachyons, and basically he forces the world to correct itself. So a more applied version of attraction. So basically, of a negative space that didn't ever exist in the first place, and he just forces that to collide. This basically how. Again, I'm not the right person to explain this, but if you want, this is the dumber version. This is basically, if you don't understand it, this is how. Because I understand it, but I'm not good at explaining it. This is basically how it is. Then the obvious last one ability is purple. When he combines red, this one is actually pretty simple. When he combines red and blue together, create purple. Now there's two versions of purple. He can create a tachyon field, which basically make a sphere, and anything inside that sphere is destroyed, deleted, or disintegrated, either one. Or he can make a path where anything between him and the object is just disappeared. So, for instance, if you were like standing, like it goes in a linear path. It can't just circle around, or he can't make it do it. It goes straight in a linear path, and it destroys whatever is in its path. Now, the range, I do not know how long it is, but it is faster than the speed of light. So it's very devastating, and it just destroys anything in the linear path in its direction. There's that. Now, what you're thinking is, okay, well, since he has limitless, no one can touch him, and you can't do anything. Not necessarily. There is one there's one way to get rid of it. To get rid of limitless altogether, to neutralize it. And that is a domain expansion. Now, I'm not the right person to say this, but before I tell him what his is, a domain expansion is basically your own territory. It boosts up your stats and your curse jutsus. Your curse techniques, I should say, or jutsus, whatever, same thing. So domain expansion is a domain that you rule over, that you have complete control over. It boosts up your stats, like physical strength and all that stuff, and it boosts up your techniques, your curse techniques. So, for example, the one villain, he has a domain expansion that teleports you into a volcano, and he just basically just shoots rocks at you. Basically, how it is. So, a domain expansion. Sorry, it's just so much because like you really have to understand it, or else you're gonna get lost in the manga. If you don't understand the episode, you're really gonna get lost. Like if you miss one detail, that's your ass. It's basically what this is. So I have to be very literal when I say this. So in a domain expansion, no matter who you are, an attack or jutsu that they use will always hit. So limitless will not work because he's in their domain. So it will always hit. Now there are ways to stop it from hitting you, which I know you're saying, how the fuck does that work if it always hits? Shut up. The first way is if you basically use like net, basically just like you coach yourself in curse energy and block it, or like One Piece, use hockey, coach yourself and block it. It will hit you, but if you coach yourself with enough, then you should be fine. The second one, which he does not recommend, Goju. If Goju say he doesn't recommend it, then you don't do it. Is you run out, you run away from the domain. You get out of their territory, which is basically impossible. Because I mean, it is your territory, and they're all going to hit you, and it always hits. So you running away, it's not going to work. Now there is one weakness to a domain expansion. Two weaknesses, I should say. The first weakness is you can get in, but you can't get out. And what that means is a domain expansion is to trap your prey inside of it. Any outside force can break into it. So if you wasn't counting for like an outside force coming to help, then you're fucking screwed. So in one of the episodes, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but let's say our main character, he broke into a domain expansion, and suffice it to say, shit got real. Because the more curse energy you put inside, the more vulnerable it is to the outside. So someone can actually break into it if they really wanted to, which is not recommended, but it can be possible. Now, not everybody can do a domain expansion. That is tricky. And it's tough to maintain. It takes up a lot of energy. But if used correctly on the right person, it is worth it. Now, the second weakness I'm pretty sure I'm wondering about is another domain expansion. So basically, if two people were to activate domain expansions, they have the little jutsus and shit. If two people were to do that, the one who's the stronger one will win, or the most compatible, or the one with the most curse energy. Basically, the strong one wins, and it overrides the other one. All right. Bear with me, because Oh my god, it's so confusing. His domain expansion goes with infinity. So the domain expansion that is called, when he uses it, is called limitless. Get it? Infinity. So if you're in limitless, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You're fucked. You're fucked. I'm not caught up. I'm not caught up, so I can't really spoil it for you. But I'm just letting you know right now. If you're in this, to me, what it sounds like, if you're in this, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. Because what this does is just unfucking believable. So basically, you can see everything. Let's say he traps you in limitless. You can see everything. You can hear everything. You can feel everything. So much so that you can't stop thinking. In the manga, they did it like this. So let's say you have a, okay, I know I'm doing this fucking wrong. I only know two of them. But let's say you have an acorn that's right here close to you. Acorn, and apple is behind it, but it's like medium far and far away is a trumpet. So in your mind, you're like, okay, acorn, apple, trumpet. Now in limitless, let's say you have the same setup, but it works like this. You don't you see everything. It's fucking hard to say. In your mind, it's not acorn, apple, trumpet. It's just this, that over here, this, there. Everything's over there. It's over there. That too is there. Is there. I feel this. You can't focus on one thing. Basically, what I'm trying to say. You just, it's so much so that you can't even move. It's too much information. You can't walk. You can't talk. I mean, I think you can talk, but it's just too much. It's overloading your brain. It's too much information, and it's overloading your brain, and you can't just think straight. That's how limitless works. And basically, you're dead after that. But we're gonna make the same video and explain it way better than me. But this is the simplified version for dummies because I barely understood it. But yeah, that's pretty much. Let's go over it. Just do the checklist real quick. Infinity. Basically, an infinite space. He creates an infinite space that you can never touch him with. So anything he wants to touch him, can't touch him. If he doesn't want you to touch him, then you will not touch him. It'll feel like you're stopping. So like the closer you get to him, the slower you become. So no matter how close, you're just so inches away, but you just can't touch him no matter what. The closer you get to him, it'll feel like you just stopped automatically. All right. The second version of Infinity, Azure Glow, amplified version of Attraction. The third version, which again I do not know the name of it. I already put the link in. I'm not doing it again. Basically a super amplified version of that. It makes the world correct itself by targeting the negative space and sucking everything together, like overlapping. Blue attracts things together. Red repels things like curse techniques and all that stuff. Purple creates a tachyon field or tachyon blast that's faster than light. Tachyon field, anything that's inside the bubble will be deleted, destroyed, or killed, whatever. Tachyon blast is basically a linear line that destroys anything in its path between him and the opponent. His domain expansion, limitless, makes a person see, feel, touch, smell everything. So overloads their brain to the point where they can't even think or move. His final attack. And I forgot to mention, he does have eyes. He has a special eye, the sixth eye. Now, the information on it, I do not know because I tried looking it up. It's not there, or it's not detailed enough. So whatever it is, but his eyes are special. It helps him refine and maintain limitless correctly to use it to his utmost abilities. So that's why when he uses limitless, he takes off the little bandana, and he can see perfect. So that's what helps him. But oh, and he's not the only person who can use limitless. Anyone can use limitless. It's just that, how can I put this? Like Shikamaru's shadow possession jutsu. Anyone can use it, but it's just a trade secret on their family, and it takes up a lot of energy. So unless you're on the Gojo family clan, I wouldn't recommend you using limitless. But yeah, And the difference between curse energy and curse techniques, which is said in manga, curse energy is like electricity. Curse technique is electronics. It harnesses it. So, from what I believe, you can only have one curse technique, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, and or like Hunter x Hunter. You can have one nen ability, but you can divide those nen abilities up into other things. So like Kurapika, for instance, that's a good example. He has one nen ability to conjure the nens, but he divides that nen ability into his fingers, so that they all have special abilities. And he has Emperor Time, which enhances those special abilities. So base it's basically like that. So Gojo is the same way. Infinity, but he just breaks it down, and they all relate back to Infinity. So there's that. He's super smart, obviously. Uh, yeah. He's irresponsible. So he's like a Goku mixed with Luffy. Yeah, Goku mixed with Luffy. Yeah, because Luffy doesn't like authority figures either. So yeah, basically like that. He cares about his students. I'm not gonna get into his past because that's a whole other video for another day. But this is Goju explained. Enjoy.